Hi guys, I hope you had a nice 3-day weekend. Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about personal narratives again, and we're going to be talking about how to go back into a narrative we've already written and improve upon that piece. So let's start our slideshow together. We've been talking about taking a watermelon idea and then looking at each of those seeds, the seed ideas, and zooming into it. Sometimes we call it a seed idea because we mean we're going to nourish and grow that small seed idea all the way into a published piece of writing. So how do you know which one to pick? Because we've been writing so many and we're going to continue writing personal narratives. We're not going to take all of them all the way to publishing. So what I want you to do is when you're rereading your personal narratives, pay attention to that little voice inside your heart. Look for the one that whispers to you that there's something about this story, that this story has the potential to become a really important and special piece of writing that you would want to share with many people. So I'm going to stop talking right now. You're going to pause your video. You're going to take some time and reread the 3 personal narratives that you've written in your journal so far. For those of you who have not done this, you need to do so today. If you have done it, you're going to decide which one out of your 3 is your favorite seed idea, the one that you think could be your greatest piece. Great writers don't just pick a story idea and then write a book. They get ready to write by rehearsing. They warm up and take a few practice runs, just like dancers before a performance or musicians before a concert. So maybe as you're going back to the narrative you chose, you're going to want to make some changes to it, and that's okay. Or maybe you decide to go with a completely different narrative. That's okay too. Writers also rehearse for writing by trying out several different leads, or in stories, we would call them introductions. Why are leads important? The first bit of text on a page has the big job of grabbing the reader's attention and making that reader want to put everything else aside so he can just hunker down and read your story. You're hooking your reader in. So let's go back and review Everything Will Be Okay. And let's take a look at Jim Howe's lead. What is he doing at the start, the lead that I can try as a writer? The kitten is a scrawny thing with burrs and bits of wood caught in its coat, where it still has fur and pus coming out of its eyes and nose. Its big baby head looks even bigger at the end of such a stick of a body. I found it in the woods at the end of my street where I play most days with my friends. This time I was alone. Lucky for you I was, I think. Otherwise David or Claude might have decided you'd be good practice for their slingshots. Those 2 can be mean, I think to myself. I don't like playing with them really, but they live at the end of the street, and sometimes you just play with the kids on your same street, even if they are mean, sometimes even to you. Okay, so what did I notice? The first thing I'm noticing is that he is right in the moment of the story, recalling and zooming in on these tiny details. The missing fur, the leaky eyes, the stick skinny body. What great adjectives with great descriptions to help us really picture this kitten that he found. We can see it as if we are there. The narrator is also talking to the kitten in his mind, telling him how lucky he is and how he feels about the neighborhood kids. So we have that internal dialogue going on. How does his inner thinking hint at what the story is really about? The author's inner thinking at the beginning of the story allows him to drop us some hints, letting us know what this story might really be about. So, techniques for writing memorable leads. You can include the smallest details of the moments, the ones that ring true for you, the narrator. You could include inner thinking to hint what your story is going to be about. You could include precise actions of the character, helping readers to see how one action leads to another. And you can include the exact words that the characters are speaking. dialogue. Notice I didn't put in this list to ask your reader a question. A lot of us use that as a hook when we're doing our essay writing, and that's a great hook for that genre. But when we're writing a story, we're not talking really to our reader. We're telling it from a narrator's point of view. We're giving our experience so our reader feels like they are with us, not that we are speaking to them. So let's look at an example. We're going to look at a couple from past fifth graders and see how they took this list and started their stories. Fear, a feeling nobody wants, but everyone has felt. Although sometimes in the end, the feeling of achieving something can make it all worth it. As I walked on the slippery cement floor, my palms start to sweat. My sister, uncle, dad, and I walked to the line of the hurricane water slide. We were at Wilderness Resort in Wisconsin Dells. My sister once told me that the hurricane slide was the best water slide that she had ever been on. Ever since, I couldn't wait to ride it. I never thought that instead of pure excitement, I would feel afraid. So the way that this fifth grade author decided to introduce his piece, here's the beginning of the story right here, or the second paragraph. But the introduction comes first, and he introduced it with a mood. He's talking about the feeling, and he's giving us a sense of what this story is going to be about when he talks about the feeling of achieving something can make it all worth it. That leads me to believe that he's going to go down this slide, and at the end, he's going to be glad that he did. Let's look at example number 2. I was in a short-sleeved green shirt and jean shorts. The door slammed as I went outside. Bang! That probably should have been a little quieter, I thought. I smelt the breeze. It smelt like summer. The breeze blew around my long brown hair as I searched for a net. I grasped the long wooden handle as I went out of the garage. It felt like an adventure was going to happen. I scanned the fields like a real entomologist would do. This is the day I catch my butterfly, I thought. So now this author did 2 things. This author is including very specific descriptions so we could really visualize what's happening. We have the short-sleeved green shirt, the jean shorts. We know that the breeze is blowing and what it smelled like. We could all picture that smell of summer when the air changes. But this author also included a lot of internal dialogue, what they were thinking to themselves. And I want to point out that they used italics to do that, which is the correct way to do internal dialogue. So they changed the font. We haven't talked about that yet. So this is another great way to introduce a story. And these examples are from kids your age, just like you. So you are able to do this. Example 3. The water slowly trickled down my legs, sent a shiver up my spine. I stood on the swaying raft, waiting anxiously for my turn. It'll be fun, I promise you, Kira sighed. This is my 3rd year at camp, I would know. But what if I fall off? What if it's not as fun as I thought it would be? What if I don't land butt on blue? I inquired, bucking the strap of the neon orange life vest. Stop stressing. Believe me, you'll love it, the camper behind me encouraged, putting her hand on my shoulder. I bit my lip, unease and worry almost pulling me off the raft. So this author decided to do dialogue between the characters and also included a lot of mood. So we see the shivering going up the spine. We have unease and worry almost pulling her off the raft. So we have that mood and that dialogue. Okay, so it's your turn. You're going to pick an introduction from one of your personal narratives and you're going to rework it. You're going to write it again. How can you change it? Will you start with adding the smallest details of the moment? Will you decide to have inner thinking to hint at what the story is about? Will you use very precise actions of the character? Or will you use dialogue, exact words that the characters are speaking? I would like you to really give it a go today. Take a risk. take an introduction and change it. It's okay to go back and change your writing to make it better. I would like you to use a different color font for me so that when I go into your journal, it's very easy for me to see which piece you went back to change. So if you use a red font today for your new introduction of your piece, I'll be able to see that. Okay? Can't wait to read them.